The topic given for this day is forgiveness, reconciliation, and the oneness of humanity. Each one of these topics are very relevant and important. I will make a very brief presentation, then it will open to a discussion. The first point is forgiveness. Forgiveness is usually referred to someone have done something wrong and which might be violent or hurting to someone, and the subject of such action did not react the same way, but just to tolerate that action. With tolerance also gives forgiveness to the actor. So this is usually called forgiveness or tolerance. Someone does some wrong thing or some violent act to somebody, then the sufferer did not react the same manner, do not retaliate, but in spite of that, the person has a bad feeling or kind of anger or irritation. Such mindset is arising to the sufferer, then it is not, although the person may not react the same way, but it is not a forgiveness. Forgiveness real means not minding, have no ill feeling, whatever action is be directed to someone. It might cause injuries or suffering or lose whatever it may be. The subject of such action did not feel any ill feeling for that action. That is tolerance. That kind of tolerance can give the forgiveness to the actor. Another point which is difficult comes with the forgiveness, and particularly in these days it will become more and more difficult to practice real forgiveness, because the person who forgiven or who is subject to the wrongdoing could not differentiate the action and the actor, and we mixed up the action and the actor, and all the feelings are being directed to the action and actor both together. The actor is under the influence of negative emotions, so therefore actor is a subject of compassion, and the action which is injustice, untruthful or violence, that action need to be condemned, opposed, or make the actor to understand the wrongdoing. Whatever the injustice action, if we just ignore it without telling it is wrong, it is not to be done, it is not right way to doing these things, so the actor should be, if possible, educate what he have done is wrong, and then the person, the actor, might be able to refrain from repeating it again. Otherwise, it may be misunderstood that we forgive the actor. They also misunderstood that action is also accepted or it is acceptable. Gandhi have said it beautifully in short sentence. We must hate the sin but love the sinner. Then the second is reconciliation. That is also to be analyzed very properly. Usually the reconciliation refers to a kind of adjustment or a kind of giving a take way. Particularly these days, the reconciliation is used for many of the diplomatic acts between nations or between societies. So in that manner, in that way, there is the danger to give concessions to injustice as well. Yes, adjustment means if the action is totally wrong, then there is very difficult to make a reconciliation. So reconciliation many times refers, I give up 50%, you give up 50%, we agree to something adjustment. The adjustment many times takes the wrong thing also can be acceptable. If I make a metaphor, someone stealing or robbing $100 from me, and then there's a kind of struggle. Then we say, okay, you keep $50 and give me $50, we shall make it half-half, we shall reconcile it, something like that. That means acceptance of the stealing or robbing act in 50%. So that kind of reconciliation is not right way from the viewpoint of the morality. Someone steals $100 from you and you recognize the thief and proved the thief, and then you just give that thief love and compassion alone. But at the same time, the act of stealing is bad, you should not do it, and let the person make a realization and then try to not repeating it in the future. After that, then you may give the all $100 to that person, because that may be a needy person. He or she has to do such stealing because of some urgent need or some circumstances compelling them. So the act of stealing should be condemned, the actor should be loved, and then the actor, in reality, there is a certain necessary to do such thing due to circumstances or compelling things, then that person should be helped. In that way, then the reconciliation and forgiveness both are in right direction. As a spiritual practitioner or follower of any religion, then forgiveness is absolutely necessary in any circumstances, and reconciliation has to be judged on its merits. Now the last one, the oneness of humanity. The Buddhist way of looking to it is that oneness of all sentient beings, human, non-human, animals, each living creature, each living sentient beings should feel the oneness. But today usually we refer to the oneness of humanity because human beings are considered to be more intelligent than any other living beings. Oneness does not mean there's no plurality, there's no many things, but oneness means equality and treating each other as equal. Oneness on the basis of equality And the other reason for the oneness is on the basis of interdependent nature. No human individual can survive or can lead a life without depending to many, many other humanity or sentient beings. Everything, our fitness of body, mind, speech, lifestyle, whatever it may be, without the cooperation and without help or without depending to hundreds of thousands of other sentient beings or other human beings, therefore we must be, since we are interdependent each other, wherever some harm is created, that is also comes to oneself. Oneself cannot be left out. Any kind of disturbance happen to any individual or human being. Any action which is acted through cooperation is beneficial to all the cooperators, and any action which is performed through competition, then it brings harm to both the competitors. This is misconception that in competition one is winner, the other is loser, but in reality both of them are losers. The humanity by nature, it was created for the sake of helping each other or cooperating each other. I will stop here so for your others' participation.